She has a dozen unread messages, all from men orbiting around her, each one a pixel in the wallpaper of her ego. Compliments arrive like spam. Promises of dinners, exotic trips, affectional pile up like leaves in autumn. Beautiful but meaningless. But then your name appears. Suddenly, her scrolling halts, her breath catches. She replies, not because you begged, not because you performed, but because you didn't. You are not trying to impress her. You are not in the race. You've detached from the desperate scramble most men mistake for romance. That alone makes you lethal. You're not loud. You're not persistent. You are still, centered, stoic. And that energy, rare and sacred, slices through her conditioned indifference like a blade. Not because you learned the right phrases, but because you dismantled the illusion that chasing equals worth. Modern men are not weak because they feel they are weak, because they equate their identity to how much they give. They've been told that more effort equals more love. But a man who overextends himself, trying to earn something that should be given freely, becomes a beggar. He becomes an employee auditioning for a role in a drama she controls. And that's the lie. That's the trap, because in trying to win her, you forfeit yourself. This script, this moment, this message, it isn't here to stroke your ego. It's here to wake you up. Comment, choose control if you're done being disposable. The Stoic blueprint is now public, but not for long. Because this isn't for everyone. It's for the men ready to reclaim their dignity and rebuild their edge. We're breaking this awakening down into 8 unfiltered, savage truths. Not pickup tricks, not cliches. These are mental weapons, psychological armor, truths that shift how you see yourself, how you move, how you own space in a world that taught you to shrink. Asterisk when you alter your tone, reschedule your grind, mute your truth just to improve your odds with a woman. You step off your throne and hand her the crown. That's not attraction. That's abdication. And she senses it. She doesn't choose the man who tries the hardest. She chooses the one who makes her feel he could walk away at any moment and still be whole. That isn't arrogance. That's value. Real value never needs to announce itself. It radiates. Every time you sacrifice your routine, your mental space, your physical rhythm for her attention, you bleed power. And the harsh reality is this. The more you prove your worth, the more she doubts it. Not consciously, but instinctually. Because effort without boundaries isn't love. It's obsession. And obsession is rooted in lack, not strength. You want to know why she ignores the guy who texts her every morning, but replays the silence of the one who left without a word. Because true power doesn't explain itself. It doesn't need to. A man anchored in his purpose doesn't chase validation. He creates velocity. And that motion, silent, strong, sacred, cannot be faked. When you stop checking her stories, double texting, wondering how to respond just right, you enter a higher state. Not of manipulation, but of mastery. Because you're no longer reacting to her emotions, you're responding to your direction. That kind of focus is irresistible. She won't say it. She may even act indifferent, but the pull is there. Because detachment isn't cold. It's clarity. In a world of men who overshare, who post every meal, every feeling, every second of their lives online like some open diary begging for attention, you become sacred by withholding. You want her obsessed. Then stop giving everything. Stop explaining every decision, every move, every mood. Let your silence stretch long enough for her imagination to fill the gap. When you don't chase, she starts hunting your energy. When you don't try to entertain, she leans in. Not because you're distant, but because you're full. Mystery doesn't mean you disappear. It means you let your depth speak louder than your words. And depth, unlike charm, cannot be copied. It's felt. Most men wait. They wait to be chosen. They wait for her to text back. They wait for permission to be great. But a man on a mission doesn't pause for a maybe. You want to attract a woman who respects you. Then stop making space in your schedule before you've filled it with your own priorities. When you cancel your training to hang out with her, reschedule your focus to keep her attention. Shift your dreams to match her moods. You lose her. Because the truth is this, she doesn't want to be the center of your life. She wants to orbit around a man whose life has gravity, who is building, who is rising, who doesn't pause just because she enters the room. When your time becomes sacred, your presence becomes priceless. She stops expecting your energy on demand, and she starts earning it. She's heard she's beautiful 1,000 times. She's been complimented into numbness. You want to stand out. Stop looking at her and start seeing her. See the tiredness behind her confidence. See the pain she hides beneath sarcasm. See the contradictions she's made peace with. Then speak to them. Tell her something she's never heard, not because it's clever, but because it's real. Tell her you see strength in her silence. Tell her you recognize the weight she carries because you've carried your own. Connection doesn't happen in flattery. It happens in awareness, in truth, in being present enough to speak the unspoken. Men who are always available become invisible, because what is common is never craved. But when your presence is limited, when your time is earned, when your attention is rare, you become a drug. Not because you're manipulative, because you're occupied. Your days are consumed by purpose. Your energy is focused, precise, sacred. She doesn't forget the man who walks away without bitterness. She becomes haunted by him. She doesn't obsess over the man who explains everything. She obsesses over the one she can't predict. When your absence is intentional, your presence becomes legendary. A man who can stay still while she storms is a man who wins, not through dominance, but through gravity. When you remain calm while she panics, centered when she provokes, steady when she tests, you communicate a message that bypasses logic and enters her DNA. This man cannot be moved, and that stability becomes safety. Not the kind that folds for her, but the kind that anchors her. The kind that makes her feel she can unravel without being judged. And ironically, that kind of man is the one she fears losing the most, because she knows she can't find it anywhere else. She forgets men, but she remembers moments. She forgets texts, but she remembers energy. She forgets looks, but she remembers how she felt in your presence. Be the man who gives her depth when everyone else offers dopamine. Be the pause in her chaotic world. Be the mirror that reflects who she is beneath the mask. You don't need to impress her. You need to become an experience of stillness, of intensity, of masculine calm that disrupts her autopilot. You do that, and you won't need to chase. You'll haunt her. If you've made it here, you're already different. No, the old ways don't work. The overgiving, the pursuit, the desperation, that game is dead. The new way begins now. The Stoic relationship blueprint is more than a book. It's a weapon, a map back to your essence, a return to the man you were before the world told you to beg. Read it, live it, pass it on to the version of you that forgot his worth. Comment the Stoic blueprint below if you're ready. Like this video, share it with a brother who needs this truth, because the next chapter of your life isn't about her. It's about remembering you. Your edge isn't gone. It was just waiting for this moment to return.